What's up, y'all? This is Chase, and before we hop into today's podcast, we want to share a message from today's sponsor, Seeds of Love. Seeds of Love bracelets are great. You've seen them on a couple of our podcasts for sure. They're beautiful, nice, while also being low-key. And the best thing about Seeds of Love, in addition to being a great piece of fashion, is their mission. Their mission is to empower village artisans in Guatemala. Every bracelet is handcrafted with love in Guatemala, and $1 from each bracelet goes to support local nonprofit organizations in Guatemala. They're available in over 10 colors, including rose gold, ocean teal, and royal blue. As well, they have stickers and other accessories that you could pair with your bracelets. If you have a loved one's birthday coming up, share some love and sow some love with high-quality bracelets with a purpose, where you can make a difference while also making a fashion statement. You know, what Josue tries to do every single podcast. Follow them on Instagram or Facebook at Seeds of Love Bracelets and go support them. And now for today's podcast. We're gonna have like a little Q&A. I think some of y'all were here 3 months ago whenever we did our African cultural dinner, which was a ton of fun. But yeah, Tiffany will be leading this Q&A. And so yeah, whatever the Lord's put on her mind to do, we gonna do. So
this music.
Should we turn it?
Let's change it. It just feels real somber. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what it is.
I feel like it should be my deep childhood or something. I know. I'm like, wow, am I gonna cry or am I gonna, you know? My grandpa, I call him Mama. Yeah, back in the day.
Okay, so I have a few questions, but would love if anybody else has them to ask them too, just to learn about those cultures. So the first one is, what is something that you feel is like the hidden gem of the Filipino culture? Like something that maybe people don't know about, or
I don't know if it's really hidden, but I feel like it's like something that like I hear a lot when I hear people talk about people of our culture. So we're like Filipino. I'm sure everyone knows that over there. But is the hospitality. Is like the biggest thing. Like anytime I hear anything about a Filipino, whether they're like working in a hospital or whether they're like, it's usually like they're like the words are, oh my gosh, my Filipino friend's so nice and they feed us all the time. You know, it's like those are like the two things that you usually hear. And so I don't know if it's like a hidden gem or if it's something that you just come across once you meet like somebody that's Filipino, because that's just a part of our culture to host people and to feed them.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah,
I was telling Angela, we're kind of like the super hosts of cultures, I guess. I don't know. Somebody else could tell me different. But we just like, I think we love to think ahead and like figure out how can I make somebody feel comfortable in my home. We like to loop people in, and family is like super important to us. So like if you've ever met any Filipino, even when I meet Filipinos, they're always like, I have a super large family. And I'm like, same.
Yeah.
So it's like I noticed that we like to be around the table and I like to be around family, and like wherever we go, we like to find family. So yeah, I'd say that's kind of like our hidden gem, is like bringing people in and making them feel like family. So
yeah. Yep.
I got a question in the back.
Yeah. What's up?
Got a question.
So, yeah. First, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Could you please introduce yourselves, like share your names, just so we can know?
Oh yeah.
It's like a two-part question. Okay. Were you born here, over there? If you were born here, how did you get so like, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Immersed in the cultures. Was it like just because of the family dynamics, like your home? You know, that's just how it was at home, or is it something you saw with your community in the area where you live? So I can repeat all that if you need me to.
Oh, okay. I'm Genie. I won't give you my government name. It's too long. And I'm second gen, so that means that my parents came here. They were born in the Philippines, and then I was born here. I was born in Bremerton, Washington, a Navy brat, so I didn't really live one place very long, except for maybe Texas. So I guess I'm by nature Texan. Shut up. For people who can't see, I'm saying shut up to my brother-in-law, who is Texas born. But for me, culturally, I guess how I became ingrained in my own culture, it was mostly my parents, but it was almost like a battle because they're first gen, first gen coming here. So they wanted to understand how to be a part of America. So for a long time it was like, okay, am I Filipino, or do you want me to be American in this or Filipino in this? And even our grandpa was with us, and he was like trying to learn English, but we were also trying to learn English, but also like not understanding whether or not we should be learning, which ours is Ilocano, not Tagalog, Ilocano. And so for a while there, we were like, okay, do I just like know my culture through my food, or do I know the culture through like language or whatnot? For me, I think I'm still like getting the tip of the iceberg. I don't know my culture fully, and which more and more as I meet other Filipinos, it's kind of sad because we know maybe language and food, but we don't know like traditions or like holidays or traditional wear, dances, or something like that. Like I've noticed that's kind of something that's been missing, and I've asked my parents, and they're like, oh, like just look through the books, and I'm like, there's not books really about us. So a lot of it has been like this journey through life, trying to reclaim that kind of missing piece of myself, but also not like taking that and being like, well, I guess I don't know who I am, I've just kind of taken it as a journey. Like, this is a good idea. This is part of who I am, but that doesn't mean that I don't know who I am. So
it's good. My name is Angela. I think there's it's so funny because I think of culture, I think of Filipino, then I think of American, and then I think of if you're like any kind of immigrant raised, or there's like a third culture. There's like the Philam, or the like anything, like just the American version of a culture. And so it's really funny because like when I go to the Philippines, I'm fully immersed, and like when you start learning the language, like when you're in a different culture, things like jokes are different. You're like, wow, this would never fly in America. It's like not that funny, but here it's funny. You know what I mean? And vice versa. Like things that we say, my cousins are like, I mean, I guess that's kind of funny. So there's like this weird third like culture that like I think we get to experience, and really kind of like trailblaze. And I'm not saying that like people ain't lived lives way before us, but I think in a space where people are really seeking identity, right? Culture is a part of just like what makes you up in some way, and so it's like it's so easy to get like discouraged because you're not fully one or fully the other. I think I grew up with that complex a lot, but I think now I love the beauty of this third thing of like, okay, I'm not fully Filipino, I'm not fully American, but I am like both, and I get to explore that out, and it's kind of fun, and it's nuanced, and it like like I want to learn our language. Well, she speaks a different language. I would speak Kapampangan, and she speaks Tagalog or Ilocano. And then there's like one language that brings all Filipinos together. So like in the country, there's like over 200 dialects is what they call it, but it's really just a language. And so we have one main language that brings us together. But yeah, it's kind of cool to just explore it out, and like I found like just peace rather than shame of like not knowing my culture, because it's just impossible. I'm just not fully that. I didn't grow up in it, and I'm not fully American because I didn't grow up in a fully American household. So yeah, great question.
Is there like how big is the Filipino presence here in Texas? Because prior to moving here, like I didn't know any, and then moving to Texas, I think I maybe met 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So like, they're like, do you guys have like a large like number here, or?
I think it's slowly getting bigger. We're mostly on the west side because it's closest to the Philippines.
Okay.
So like the west states like California, Washington, Oregon.
Okay.
Trying to think of.
I mean, honestly, it's bigger. Well, I don't want to say it's bigger than Arizona, which is where I grew up. I would say there's like a good amount in Dallas. In Fort Worth, it's a little scattered. You know what I'm saying?
This is the only one I see.
Yeah, I'm like Genie. I'm holding on, Genie.
Just the hospital.
Yeah, right. If you visit a hospital, population,
Hospital. If you went to a
90%.
hospital,
It's true.
You might see
It's
my auntie.
true.
You might see my cousin.
Honestly.
Y'all like hospitalized or?
No, if you get hurt.
We're just acting prone.
Yeah, you know we live that crazy lifestyle.
You can't stay out. Just say all the time.
No, that's kind of that makes
blame
me
it.
sad because I
I
just
blame
made a generalization of our Filipino
I know.
Americans.
Okay.
Okay, but do you have family that's in the medical field?
Yeah, if you're Filipino, you're either expected to be a nurse, a post office worker, or I don't know what the third
The
one
military.
is. The military.
Military.
Yeah, those are like the three things.
Yeah.
And my mom, she's fully Filipino. She's a hairstylist. She owns a business. And she wanted me to be a nurse. I said, "Ma, you can't play this game. You a hairstylist with the salon. I'm sorry. I'm not going to nursing school."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
Hospitalized.
Yeah, we get into cahoots all the time.
Woo.
Also, if I can add, there's a huge population of us in Houston. I forgot why,
Oh,
but there was
yeah.
an industry that happened close to Houston that Filipinos gravitated to, and so there was a nice little population down there.
Mm-hmm.
I kid not Jollibee. It was something else.
So all those started sprouting out. It's a little Filipino community there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Are there some, I know Tiffany had some questions. Are there some like stereotypes about Filipinos that you guys want to put us on? Because I don't think I know any.
That's true.
So I'm just kind of
Yeah.
curious if there are any stereotypes,
Mm.
good or bad.
From Americans or from the Filipinos?
Probably Americans.
Okay,
Yeah.
Americans.
I would say, like, well, one, we kind of fall into any other Asian stereotype sometimes.
Like we're good at math.
Yeah.
We're good at school.
Right.
We're good at
We eat dog.
I mean,
that one.
you right. I forgot. Sheesh. Yeah, one time my family dog came up missing, and I did wonder. I'm not even lying. In the Philippines, and I was like, wow, where did that dog go? Low key. I think he just got sick, honestly. You know what I'm saying? It's fine.
They just disappeared.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
You said his name was Adobo?
I said, what is
Wow.
You're just eating and like, what is in this adobo? Which is like the, like.
I got you.
That
Yeah,
dish
yeah.
right there. Yeah.
Sheesh.
And not dog everybody. Just like
I have a question.
Yes.
Are the Filipinos like? I know. I feel like I'm about to joke. I'm
No,
not.
that's good.
Are you guys like?
We like questions.
Are you like? Am I tripping or not? Like, cause like, kind of seem like a blend between like Hispanics and Asians. Is that what the Filipinos are? Or
That's a good
what's
crossover.
your?
Yeah. So there's actually a really sad history on the Philippines. This is kind of sad. But we were a lot of the times taken over by many different countries. So Asians, and then Spain came over and took over too. And so there's a lot of like different blends of culture. So you'll see lighter Filipinos, and then you'll see darker Filipinos, and you'll see like some of them know Spanish, some of them know Cambodian, some of them know Malaysian, like dialects and stuff like that. Like the languages that we're talking about, like those 200 languages are like mixtures between like Spanish, Filipino, or like Ilocano, because Filipino is like a what is it called? It's like it's not because the Filipino, like the Filipino word is actually from Philip the Conqueror.
Yeah.
The
king
from
Philip.
Spain, and so we're not technically like I would be an Ilocano person, not a Filipino person, but because they needed like something for our country to be like centralizing, they said Filipinos would be like what we are.
Where did the Eno come from?
The Eno.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Let me get back to you on that
No
one.
idea. That's good. That's good.
So it's a heavy like Spaniard. What's the Asian thing? What's Cambodian? It's just Cambodian.
Yeah, Cambodian's like Thai, Cambodia,
Like Southeast Asian.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So a lot of the countries that were like close to us, geographically, are the ones that like came in and like tried to take over. Like I remember my grandpa talking about how Japan came and took over, and like for a while there, because we lived in Japan, me and my sister. We love Japan, and he was like mad about it. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stories of like a plane flying over, and he would have to like hide in a hole and cover himself.
Yeah.
Like that's how serious.
Yeah, my grandma was a double spy.
So
She was a spy for the Japanese and the Filipinos.
Wow.
Yeah, she like risked it all.
Straight the trail.
I know.
Risk it all. I'm here for
She was truly
whoever the highest bidder.
She just ain't trying to die, I'm sure.
She said, if the money is right, I'm going that way.
I don't know.
By all means.
Yeah. So like for instance with the Spanish thing, so like my grandma's or like my mom's maiden name is Santiago. So my grandpa's named Pablo Santiago, and then my grandma's Consuelo Santiago. So like no, they don't even change the A, they just go Consuelo. Yeah, Consuelo Santiago. Yeah, they don't do it like they picked up some things from Spanish, but like we say time like it's a las ocho. I don't know, what is it? It's 9. Yeah, it's not. Anyways, time, days, sábado. Like we have some Spanish words, but we don't fully have a ton of like other like Asian influences. But we do have a lot of like some deep rooted. I don't even know what the word is. It's like what's like Aborigine. Like there's like some original language for like Tagalog is what it's called. But like most people don't speak it because it's so hidden. And it's so like it's been so masked with all these other languages and whatnot. So like if you like watch a show, they'll speak Taglish, which is Tagalog English, because it's not taught as much anymore. So yeah, like you can watch like a YouTube video and they'd be like kids would be like, I don't know that word, so I'm just using English, as a filler. But yeah, it's definitely I don't know what it would be fully considered, but we are a mix of people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So is there a greater, like the percentage of people who speak English, is it like big then, since it's mixed with?
Yeah, I think you could get away now to like go over there and travel and still get around. They'll probably
for sure
point you out as the tourist. And
Yes.
probably try to take advantage. But
They probably
just saying.
yeah,
You
they
could get
probably
away with
love
like,
you
I need to go to that
and
hotel.
serve you, but then also try to get your money.
Yeah.
It would be all of it. It'd be like, oh, you're the best. Give us 500 pesos.
They
Yeah.
also try to learn English so that they can go out and get jobs everywhere else.
Yes.
And especially since there are companies that are coming over to establish like a call center or something like that, you gotta know English. So
Yeah.
now they're being taught in schools automatically to know
Yeah.
English so they can work in industries that,
Yeah.
they can use that language.
You ever call your bank?
You ever call AT&T?
The call center?
Call Chase.
It's most likely Filipino.
Yeah.
Chase is like established over there. Every time I'd be like, "Kumusta? Hello," Like I'll try to talk to them and be like, "Are you Filipino?" I can hear it, but I'm just wanting you to say that you are. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah.
So what are some I don't think it's a redundant question, but like what are some of the things that's like that you guys are kind of like known for, I guess you could say? I don't know if I've already asked that question, but like whether it be like exports or music or
Y'all know the Jabberwocky?
Y'all know
Manny Pacquiao?
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I think we're like we love to entertain. So
Joe Coy.
you'll see that. You'll see that like a lot of Filipinos, if you're like, hey, show your talent, they'll like dance or sing
Or karaoke.
Yeah, like It's our thing.
Somewhere.
It's always the love ballad. They
It's
love the
always.
child that they can't hit the
Yeah,
notes
yeah,
for
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, so yeah, singing, dancing, entertaining, nursing, like all of that. I feel like those are just some of the things that you would. You know what? Even basketball, though our people are on the shorter end, they still nice with it.
They like
Nick, did you hear that? Nick didn't even hear that.
No, I know some cold Philippines for sure.
That play basketball? That-
Okay.
I'm serious. For some reason, they're really good at basketball. They're just in their flip flops.
It's the layup.
Wow.
I'm not even
It's the
kidding.
layup. It's not
They
the.
like to make
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I'd be scared for their ankles, but
So actually, I just learned this. My dad was telling me about this. Is that the reason why they hone in on basketball is because it doesn't take a lot to build. You just need a hoop and a ball, and that's it.
wow.
Versus like any other sport, you need more and more equipment, and they can afford it. So that's why they.
This is a poor country.
Yes, yeah. So there's no middle class.
Okay.
So you're either really poor or really rich.
There's a lot of racism
Yes.
amongst it.
Prejudice.
Colorism?
Colorism.
Yeah, like
That's what it
colorism.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So like it's funny because the Aborigines look like me, but most people want to be Chase.
Like,
No, it's true. I'm not even kidding.
they want to be.
I was trying to look. My love. I was trying to look. But yeah. So the Aborigines look like me, which, if you're listening, I'm a little chocolate. You know what I'm saying? A little like chocolate. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. There's a lot of colorism. So so if you are fair skinned, like it's like you have money.
You got money, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Interesting.
What was your school experience like? Like
My what?
in school,
Mhm.
what was that like with your culture? Like, what kind of, how did that impact
Yeah.
your experience there?
I mean, it didn't really change anything. I mean, I think everyone thought that I was Hispanic. Hispanic or
See that?
Islander or Hawaiian, like one of those. And I was like, oh no, I'm Filipino. And they're like, oh, I don't know what that is or where that's from. And you just kind of explain it. It's like underneath Japan or like really close to the coast of China and Hong Kong. But I mean, I had, like, there was another group of Filipinos there, but for me, I guess I wasn't Filipino enough or didn't know enough of the language or didn't know enough of the traditions and stuff like that. So it was, I like, had more white, black friends and Indian friends. Like, those were, like, the people that I usually hung out with. Because, I don't know, I guess I couldn't relate to the Filipino culture over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was different for you.
You know, kids are crazy. They're wild. They just say anything. I didn't even know, like, I didn't even, you know, when you have an insecurity, but it's because somebody told you about it and you didn't know about it. I remember, like, one of my first insecurities was my lips were two different colors, and somebody was like, "Do you smoke?" I was like 7. I was like, "Why?" They're like, "Your lips are two colors." I was like, "Oh my gosh." Similarly with like the Filipino culture, or like I didn't know. I thought everybody's mom for some reason. Like I thought everybody had mixed parents. So I was like, oh yeah, you have one that's one color and you have one that's another color. That's just everybody. And then you start like bringing food to like school, and then you're like, oh wow, y'all don't like the smell of fish? That's crazy. And so you just start like kind of like.
Yeah.
I don't like the smell of Hot Pockets, so I'm sorry.
Right. Take your Hot Pocket, Betty.
Your Lunchables don't look so good either.
Yeah, it's a full meal. Yeah, mine's warm. But yeah, so you like, I mean, as a kid, you know, you wanna be liked and likable, so you just you start hiding parts of yourself, or like only revealing it when it makes sense. So around like Latin people, because they were the closest things to Filipinos, like all my Latin friends. That's who I would like invite into my space. But if you were like American to the T, then I'm like, I don't know if you like chicken adobo. Who knows, you know? And so I feel like that was definitely something that I just had to learn through school. But I just didn't know that I had an insecurity until somebody made it aware that it was different. So, yeah.
Was that something that you had to grow out of, or like, what did that look like?
Yeah. Post school.
Yeah, I think I had to grow out of it because I think for a while I chose to either be someone else's culture. So like for a while I used to really love Japanese and Korean culture. Like instead of learning my own language or like Ilocano language, whatever my parents and my family spoke, like I was learning Japanese and Korean. And then I don't know what happened. I want to say it was God, just like out of nowhere was like, not anymore. Like I just had no interest in it. And so from then I was like, okay, what is our culture? I started asking my parents about it and they were like, oh my God, like wait a minute. Now we gotta like legit like walk her through it and like tell her more stories about like what we did as we grew up. And I think that even shocked them because they were not so much like, oh, she's only gonna learn these Asian cultures. Like, no, they were just like, oh wait, now we have to like revisit that and like remember what we did. So I almost had to walk them through like, oh, what did you guys do for activities as kids, or what did you guys eat as kids, or how did you spend your time after school, or how did you spend your time before school, you know, like what did the family dynamic look like back there, like back in the Philippines. And so kind of just like in the, like how I said before, like just kind of walking out that journey again and like not completely shunning all cultures because I mean I love everyone's differences and what they bring and like the facets that they show as like you know God as a whole. So like I've had to like walk out that journey and like figure it out again. So
yeah, I mean I've enjoyed it now. I think once you get a certain age you're like, oh okay, it wasn't that deep, but you know it was kind of deep when you're 15, you know. But I don't know, I really, like I said earlier, just loved exploring that third option because it is like, it's not like anything that I've ever experienced with either side. So yeah, I've really liked it. I mean, I low-key want to be like, I want to live on a farm and have an animal. You know what I'm saying?
Turn around.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right
Here's my land, low-key.
I think it's my dad's land.
Low-key. No, but for real. Like,
I think that's the hill he tells us like, wait a minute, that's where I
There's a
want.
flyover of the Philippines.
Yeah. But like I literally watch shows like this. I think I sent you a couple where it's like people are like in their shack making food with like a stone.
Yes.
I'm like, Mom, this is my life, and she's like, I grew up out of that. I want nothing to do with that. I said, Mom, I'm trying to go back. You know what I'm saying? So Loki.
Yeah, our parents.
My
My mom's like, no way, no, that's not cool. And I'm like, come on, we want to learn how. I want to learn how to live off the land.
Yeah. See.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for taking my question.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I just
said C.
I just said C.
Because I know earlier you mentioned like being able to learn your culture through music and food and things like that. So I wasn't here when you probably explained some of that, but what are some of the things you guys like eat? You know what I'm saying? If you're like, let me tell you about some Filipino cuisine, you know, some of the things that we eat.
Yeah, not dog.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
I mean, I think she's worried about the plantains.
Yeah. Oh, the plantains.
Are there any plantains?
Yes.
Honestly,
Yeah.
there are, but we're not. I mean, my side didn't grow up eating a ton of plantains.
Same.
Yeah, it's not like huge. I mean, we do
have more
eat
banana
it.
trees on our land.
Yeah, we have these small sweet bananas that we usually eat too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something that we do, I guess, it's kind of different. We eat goat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Shout
like
out to goat.
I
so
love
it's like
goat.
so it's like you have chicken, beef, and then you have like pork and then goat.
Yeah.
Like it's like a staple.
Yeah.
You'll see it on the menu. So.
Yeah. So traditionally, most meals in the Philippines will be made out of pork because it's the cheapest meat that you can afford there, and it honestly tastes great. But today we didn't cook with any pork because we've explored outside those options. But like some of the foods that we traditionally eat that like you would introduce somebody, entry level, chicken adobo, easy, little. Thank you. Pancit, the noodles.
The noodles.
Right, okay. Lumpia, the egg rolls, okay? Okay.
This right here.
That's probably like your most entry level as it gets for like.
So mean.
I'm serious
like,
because
dang.
everything else kind of it just goes up, you know? Like you like sour soup?
Yeah.
That's probably next. You know?
That's just
Right.
some of the stuff. Like,
We have a dish.
no.
No, we
So
do.
you have to.
We have a dish that I love.
Oh.
That is, well, I do love it. I don't know if I eat it as much anymore. That's made out, and this gonna sound crazy, y'all, so hear me, okay? But it's made out of pork blood.
Oh.
You cook it in the pork blood. I know. But it's good once you get past it. I know. And that's that's a super famous dish.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing you to that.
Is
day
it
one.
red?
So,
It's not
No,
red.
it's like a.
It's like
really dark,
chocolate.
deep brown.
Yeah, it looks like bone marrow. It's chocolatey.
Because it's
Chocolatey?
chocolatey.
It's primarily pork blood.
It's all pork blood and like meat.
and meat.
Yeah, you cook the meat in it, but
Do people ever get sick from it?
no. It's cooked.
No, because you cook it.
But like,
Nah, there's nothing in it
There's
that will
like-
get you sick.
It's healthy for you.
At this point,
really?
Yeah.
I don't
I
know,
was like, oh,
I don't
here
know.
we go.
but it's good. It's called dinigawan. You put a little lime in it.
Girl, yeah, whatever you need to do.
Yeah. There's also this other delicacy.
Oh, Arsenio was just talking about
Okay,
it.
it's called bulut. I don't know if you ever watched the Fear Factor or Fear Factor.
Okay.
Yeah, the egg.
Yeah.
The egg with
The
the
duck
little
egg.
duck in
Yeah.
it. That is a delicacy.
Yeah.
And it's delicious.
No.
Whoa!
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that thing. It's just
Well, okay,
it's just
so I
the
don't
beak
eat
is
the-
looking at you. You
I
know what I'm
don't eat the
saying?
bird part, but I eat
Okay.
everything around. Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
It's a duck embryo that's not so like you still see the feathers and the legs, but it's all
And you can
mushy
eat-
because it's still in the egg.
Right.
But people just eat that like a delicacy.
Right.
Yeah, it's
you know what I'm
not.
saying?
crazy.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah, they say 2 or
It's
3
not for me.
in a row could make you blind, and I'm like, wow.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
blind. Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
You eat it?
Amen.
I've
Amen.
eaten it a couple times.
Eat it
Yeah.
how many times?
2, maybe. Maybe 3. Maybe 3.
Has your vision been affected?
3 different times. Not
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah. Hospitalized.
Do you have Filipino parents?
I was on one.
How was your vision? I'm like, I need
Wait, what's it
Well,
called
I guess
again?
it's
What's that
okay.
dish called?
which one? The egg or
The egg. The egg.
Bulot? Bolot, I think.
BALUT.
Oh, BALUT. Wow. See,
Bolot.
that's how much I
That's
don't eat.
crazy.
Not yeah.
Y'all talked a little bit about like building friendships and stuff like that, and we all like were around. But
Yeah.
how was like growing up? What was probably the hardest thing to get accustomed to as you were living in 2 different cultures?
With people?
I think for me, mispronouncing things or saying things wrong, or like my sentence structures were always kind of weird, which is interesting because I went into communications, but that didn't help. But yeah, like I feel like I said things wrong, or it was too long of a like sentence, and it went into a run on, and I was like, for instance, now. So yeah, I think that was my biggest struggle, and like it would make me not want to talk in front of people because I was like, oh no, now like I sound stupid, or I don't sound like I'm making sense. And then on the flip side, to like Filipinos as well, whenever I was talking to them or trying to speak Tagalog, like I was like, no, it's sounding incorrect. So like just kind of got insecurity in speaking to people in both languages, honestly. So
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was probably just relatability. Like, I felt like I couldn't really relate to people, so like, it was just really hard to like be with people. I was always with the like, just the the book nerds or just whatever, just people who just didn't care about who you were. So like, I experienced that too. So when my mom speaks, there's a lot of times when like I say things like she says it because of how it's structured in a different language. But like, I don't know, I just feel like when I wasn't accustomed to like making friends in regards that we could be like, we were just relatable amongst one another. I grew up in Arizona where there's like way less even black people in Arizona. So I think I was like one of 2 black people in my whole school. So I was like, man, what's up? So yeah, it was just crazy all around, Yeah.
This one's for Angela. So you mentioned like there not being a lot of black folks in Arizona growing up. So how was that like for you? Trying to on one side you are Filipino, but you also like black as well. So how did you kind of deal with that?
Yeah. Hey, turn up, Austin. Turn up. Take it.
Yeah, how did you kind of deal with those two dynamics? Did you find yourself like leaning towards one? Because I feel like a lot of kids that are mixed tend to lean towards one versus the other.
For sure.
You leaned on black.
I would. Well. Oh, wait. So when I was growing up in Arizona, like, I mean, y'all, I was country music. Like, I was just trying to be. I know. But I still love hip hop, R&B, all of that. But at a certain point, I was in Toby Keith at one point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know. Listen. So I think I just wanted to be liked, and when you're that young, I didn't even know God at that point. So it was just like anything that would make me likable. Then when I moved to LA, it was like a whole new world, and it was like I was culture shocked, and then I was really black. I was like, oh, I'm black. I just decided to lean all the way into my.
Bought a chain and everything.
Listen. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
And so I was telling Tyra, no, but for real, everything. Speech, you would have thought it was crazy. It was a whole other thing. And so when I think I came out of that, and even just like finding the Lord, because it was a whole thing that was happening, like I was finally okay with being both at like maybe 25, 26. Just really like, okay, like sometimes like I know I'm eloquent in speech, so sometimes I'd be like they call me like an Oreo, but then I'd be like, but what's up? Okay, or I'd be like, my friend, no, come here, so I just love to lean into all of them because they just all are a part of my makeup now. But yeah, definitely growing up, that was rough, y'all. Yeah. Yeah. You got curly hair and you look around, you see everyone with straight hair, you're like, today I got straight hair. Usually I don't have straight hair. But yeah, like even straightening my hair, I would straighten my hair all the time. My curls never knew me, and but now like I wear my hair pretty much curly, I would say 90% of the time. I just wanted someone to touch my head the other day, you know what I'm saying? So I said, please press it out. Yeah. I don't know if that really answers it, but it was chaotic. It was crazy. There's a lot. Yeah.
What's like the, I guess, religion that's practiced the most in the Philippines? Or what did y'all grow up with?
Catholicism.
Yeah, Catholicism.
Yeah,
is the most practiced.
Against Spanish, right? Because like that's like a big thing in Spain. But yeah,
you'll see a lot of cathedrals. You'll see a lot of statues for like Mary and the saints. There are still some Filipino like weddings that have traditions of like Catholicism in them. Like I think the cords, right?
Cord and veil.
The cord and veil, yeah.
The passing the coins.
Yeah.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
Yes, sponsors. Yes.
I definitely know that's like a Spanish thing. Mexicans do that.
Yeah. So my dad, he grew up Catholic. Sorry, my dad grew up Catholic. My mom, I know the mom, like over here. Questions. We love it though. My dad grew up Catholic, but not like a real strong practicing Catholic. And then my mom grew up Christ Church. Was it Christ Church or?
So another
Church of Christ.
Like,
Church of Christ.
Protestant or
one of them.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, like growing up and like seeing how that came together. Since my dad wasn't practicing, like he kind of really loved how my grandpa interacted with his kids and my mom. So he became Christian, and then my mom helped his family become Christian as well. And then I think we went to a Filipino church for a while, and that was interesting. Love the Filipino churches. Keep doing what you're doing. But I know my mom was like, at one point, she just really wanted more. And so she started looking and like, you know, brought us into that and taught us how to like look for more and like ask God for more. One of my fondest memories of my grandpa was like, because he was living with us at the time, he would kneel down every morning in front of his, or on his, beside his bed, like in front of his nightstand there was, and his Bible would be open and he would be having his daily encounter, and I didn't even know what that was at that point, but I was like, cool.
He would read his Bible
like,
out loud.
yeah.
We talk about this. He would read his Bible out loud. Our room is next to each other, and we would always be like, dang, why does he got to read? It's 10 p.m. We're kids. Nowadays, like, looking forward, I feel like God revealed to us that there was a reason why he was reading it out loud. It was to pretty much minister to us over that course of time. And so we attribute a lot to that. So.
Yeah. Yep. Catholicism. I mean, my parents weren't super religious at all. I think even now, like even me coming to faith wasn't because they exposed me to it. I just had it. The Lord just came to me. But I would say in the Philippines, there's like there's Catholicism, and then there's like a high Muslim community, like Islam. Yeah. It's like two extremes.
I think it's like they're always neck and neck.
Yeah. So. There's also a Jewish community. Let me tell y'all something.
Shout out Rob Schneider.
Yeah. Shout out Rob Schneider, my guy.
We love you, man. Sponsor us.
But during, so funny. Yeah, sponsor this show, please. During the Holocaust and all those things, the Philippines was one of the only countries that.
Amnesty.
Yeah, provided
amnesty, right?
Yes, yeah, and basically they like contended for visas, and right at that time they were under, I think, American rule.
Yeah, sure, British or American rule.
No, they were under American rule, and America denied them. They wanted 10,000 visas. They only got 1,000, so they got like 1,000 refugees in the Philippines that just like lived their life, and now there's like a ton of Jewish Filipinos, aka shout out Rob. He's the only one I know. He's the only one I know. But yeah, there's a high Jewish community there as well. So yeah, a little fun fact.
Okay, it's getting a little late, but I guess one or two more questions, and then Tiffany will end with one question.
Did you still have a question?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to word it so it sounds stupid.
You don't sound stupid.
I'm Filipino.
Yeah,
No. Didn't you just hear me like I had struggles with the English language?
Like seeing like the videos kind of running in the back, and obviously knowing that Philippines is like an island, right? I'm sure I think about like how like that. Almost like, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to word it. I just feel like island people are just a certain way. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, anyways. And I'm trying to figure out how to describe that. Like, for example, so where I'm from, like, I don't even know how people really swim like that. You know what I'm saying? Probably not really like big on our priority, because that's just what we do.
Wow,
so,
praise God.
Whereas I'm looking there, I'm like, man, if it's an island, like I'm imagining people just swimming, getting on boats and thinking about fish and just like doing something like eating fish earlier. I was like,
it's true.
I'll be listening. I'm still working on my questions. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's all right.
It's okay.
It's okay.
They do all those things. Though.
Yeah.
We do fish.
We boat. Yeah.
Yeah, and the waters are actually like if you ever it is a poor country, but it is so beautiful. Like, yeah, I have dreams of just like helping the country find its beauty again. Because like when you're in a state that's in poverty, you usually treat your land like how you feel, about it. And so I have a dream personally to like help the Filipinos like see that their land has value, So, I mean, That's for real. That's not fake.
That is real.
That's like that. But like sometimes when you live in something like that, and it's like you go inland, it's like trash. You know, like trash everywhere. Just yeah. But man, they're sitting on gold. Maybe literally, but like actually, just beauty.
You kidding?
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there any similarity in the culture between Filipino culture and the Pacific Islander cultures, like Tongan and Samoan at all? Because it's kind of like a middle ground between that and then like the mainland Asian cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I don't know if your family does this, but a lot of my family say that we're Asian Pacific Islander. So like in the encyclopedia, Filipinos are categorized as Asians, but like a lot of my family like to say Asian Pacific Islander. Pacific Islanders don't necessarily like that. Can't speak for all of them. But yeah, we both like rice.
And spam.
And spam. Some of them go.
I think the way of our life too, our economies are pretty similar where it comes to like fishing and farming.
Yeah.
Versus like I think when you look at other Asian countries, they're more, how do I say this? Business-like. I can't think of the word right now.
Is that what you're trying to say?
They're more advanced, and we're kind of like more in an islander space where it's our pace of life is a little bit different.
Slower.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Are you saying more advanced? You mean like commercialized? Like
There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I could not think of it right now.
all right. What is the healthiest part of the culture and like least healthiest part of your whether it's family or community? But like, what would you say?
That's that's you want to expose
prompt
people?
right
Oh my gosh.
I know the Filipinos in listening. Like,
I know what are they going to say.
Oh, y'all can listen.
Go ahead, Jared.
I'll chime in.
Jared's
So
talking.
the healthiest, and I think they both have talked about it, is definitely family or the community. Because even back in the Philippines, like when they live in they'll live in like one area, they pretty much know everybody and everybody helps each other, and like they just have that community vibe. And then when they bring it over here to the U.S., kind of like what they were saying or Genie was saying, is like they look for family. So other Filipinos look for other Filipinos. Family gets together. Family does things. Family knows each other. So I think that's a pretty healthy part of it. And always wanting to eat. They always want to feed you.
Yeah.
Like don't ever go to a Filipino's house without being full.
Yeah. Don't ever say no to a dish.
Don't ever say no to a dish.
Yeah. For real.
And then go ahead. I think
No.
I know the other part.
No, go ahead.
The unhealthiest part. Ooh.
I want to say. Okay, you go first.
My thought is
Wait, before you do. Do you both have? Do you both agree with that, or do you have your own individual healthier, like other things that you would say about healthy? And then all three of you can say your
Okay.
the other side.
That's good.
I agree.
Yeah, I would say that's
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty. No, I mean I can't think of anything.
Or do you have anything to add to it?
I mean, I feel like that would probably be like community is huge and big in the Philippines. Like if you're like in the Philippines, you can go just across the street to some like who's now a family member, but is like not truly.
Like local random lady.
Yeah, and then she'll feed you breakfast, and then you go next door.
Yeah.
You get lunch there. You come back to your place. Everyone's coming to your place for dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like very much community, family-esque for sure. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for sure.
Not roasting.
Oh wow, it's not a roast. I would say. I mean, this might be other cultures too, but for me, I think they are just honest about everything. You know, like, wow, Angela, you're getting so big.
You're so healthy.
No, not even healthy. You don't have a boyfriend? No, I don't. Bakit? You don't want to get old.
Getting old.
just for no reason. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't like your hair. Wow.
Yeah. No healthy feedback.
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
That doesn't look good. On
And then
you.
if
You're
you
like,
you give feedback, especially to an elder, it's
Yeah.
disrespect.
Yeah.
It's disrespect. Yeah. So that's what I would say. It's probably just like unwarranted honesty that is not really
Building.
honesty.
Yeah.
It's
not
just
building,
opinion.
right?
It's
It's
at that
not.
point. Yeah, that's that for me. That was probably and like I grew up in a my mom has a salon, like I said, so I got to see so many Filipinos just with the same energy, and it was a lot. It was definitely a lot. So
yeah.
That's
I'd say-
for me.
Maybe okay, like the positive or like the healthiest thing about our culture is we're inclusive. So we like to again rope people in, make them family, and then I'd say the most unhealthy is I don't think we talk things out. We very much like sweep things under the rug and like, oh well I don't like them, and then you're like, well go talk to them, and they're like no, and you're like why not? Or I disagree. They're like no that's disrespectful, and you're like well that's not gonna help. So I think just. If anything, I would love for the Filipinos to start talking more and more to each other and like being real with one another, and like I think we can grow as a people to do something like that. So
About real things.
about real things,
Not my
not
hair.
my hair, not my clothes choice,
yeah,
why
yeah.
I'm getting older.
Yeah, not those things. Yes.
Those things.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
That's a good question though.
Question.
Is out here exposing problem issues.
I know.
Here.
But,
What's the carabao behind you?
cool. Well, I think to end, that's funny.
It's a carabao.
The one question that we always end with these is basically what is a belief that we have with perspectives is God's placed a unique part of his character in each culture around the world. And so that as you encounter more cultures, as you meet more people, as you meet more of the body of Christ, you come to know more of the Father and his character. And so with that taken into context, what do you think is the kingdom, as you reflect on your culture, what is a kingdom part of your culture? A part of your culture that reflects a kingdom value or a kingdom principle or the Father's character and heart in things. And it could be reiterating things that you've already answered before or different things.
Yeah. Oh, you're just waiting. Okay.
Okay.
I think the love that we exemplify definitely, like, I learned generosity far before I knew the Lord due to my mom. You know, I learned there were just so many traits that like I could pinpoint back to just the culture of the Father, you know, like loving people, inclusivity, you know, just things that it's just like, man, if I could take like the most kingdom aspects of God, like I can find so many of those traces within the Filipino culture, family, like there's so many things that I can say, but like definitely it is that family element and that love, just the love of the Father. Like my mom and my family have seen me go through so many different stages of my life before Christ that I'm like, wow, how have y'all not like disowned me? And it like when I think about it, I think about the Father, and I'm like, man, he loved me through all of those stages too, you know. And so that's just something I think that because we love so well, you know, sometimes to our fault, yeah, you can see that element of the Father.
Yeah, I think we care deeply about people. I'd say we're probably people who like to connect with God through compassion. I wouldn't say that Filipinos only connect with God through compassion, but I think I've noticed that they care about their neighbors across the street or beside them. And when I hear people say, oh, I know a Filipino, or I met a Filipino, we have dinners with them, or we, you know, like are in community with them. I've never heard them say, well, I've seen them in passing, or I don't really know them. Like, I feel like Filipinos are really good with like, hey, I see you and I want to take care of you. So I think that reflects like God in so many ways. He sees us and he takes care of us. So
That's amazing. That's good. Awesome. Well, to wrap it up, we'll just say a quick prayer over y'all too, and then just end the night. And yeah, to honor everyone's time, I'll just pray and then we can go. Father, thank you for tonight. Thank you for just allowing us just to spend time together, providing for all of us money, time, cars, legs, whatever it took just to be able to get here, just be able to spend time with one another, eat good food, and just learn more about our friends, Genie and Angela, learn more about their culture, learn more about their stories. We just pray over the nation of the Philippines, that you would do your work there, that your will would be accomplished there, whether that be through the local government and community leaders there, whether it be through missionaries, whether it be through business partners, whether it be through other nations, like whatever it looks like, Lord. Just speak to people and Holy Spirit fill them with obedience so that you could have your will done in the Philippines, that it would be a great nation that can make an impact on the whole world. And just over these two, just continue to affirm the identity that you've placed in them, primarily as daughters in you, but also with the unique traits that you've given them and their cultures and their stories and their family heritage and lineage. Would they continue to learn more about that, understanding that in the process of learning about it, they're honoring you in it because you've placed that in them for them to be able to learn about and continue to carry forward in at least some degree. Be with all of us as we end this night and start another week. Give us rest so we can have energy. So we love you, Jesus. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Such an honor.
Yeah. Thank you all.